That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. If you're feeling low, count on the buttery flavor of our own Bastion bourbon. He ain't all that shy. I don't like to keep him waiting. The city tried to use the shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. Rothless Lagoon, even the brushers stopped going there. Didn't like being eaten. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothless Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts what don't know up from down, still lurking about. Only the city's brushers knew their way around the lagoon. These beasts, they don't like company. Even the brushers learned to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. They called her Queen Anne. The lagoon's got plenty of other dangers, of course. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. Know what smells worse than an ankle gator's breath? The stinkweed. Can't fight Queen Anne without the proper tools. Ain't time for pecker hunting, but the kid can't resist. They say you can't hurt an ankle gator unless it's raining, and it ain't raining. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Kid's got a mean throwing arm. Most of those peckers are smart enough to stay out of Queen Anne's way. Those pin cushions been living off the ankle gator's scraps. Queen Anne can't fit down some of these narrow paths. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. He holds his ground. Seems the Queen's running out of options. Still no sign of the shard. closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kid's gotta make a run for it. Those leaping lunkheads don't like Queen Anne any better than the kid. That old gator's right on his tail. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Seems even stinkweeds know to stay away from the queen. Bad idea to walk in gator grass. Ankle gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Wanna know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. The shard's sitting in plain view. Starting to get annoyed. Made her mad. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers. kids done what needed to be done. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve. Live wine so rich, they say it's brought men back from the brink for one last taste. That Gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. Don't want that thing leaving your hands until you decide it's time. Now he can shoot that fang repeater all day long. Want to keep the wilds at bay? Pack yourself a musket and a pike. It wasn't fixed, it was unbroken. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. Over there's Camp Dauncey, where the brushers steeled themselves for secret missions. To prepare for the wilds, Caelandia's brushers practice at Camp Dauncey. Had to navigate a maze of pincushions with nothing but a pike. It's a dangerous test for a dangerous job. Sometimes the course was brutal. Health tonics were off limits at Camp Dauncey. They said they made you weak. Rules said he couldn't use any fancy footwork, just your brains and your pike. If you did all right at Camp Dauncey, you got to go to the wilds. The Brushers were Caelondia's field agents, and their training was harsh. You had to find a path through the maze as quick as you could. One well-placed throw could take out several of those ugly critters. Once you started the course, they made you finish. Just getting through the course in one piece was an accomplishment. Prep for the course, the Brushers could modify their pikes however they wanted. There wasn't time to squash every pincushion, just the ones in the way. good enough run at Camp Danzig could get you promoted to captain on the spot. The wilds ain't so scary now, are they? Gotta make sure the pointy end's fastened on real tight. Point Lemaine's Grand Rail once brought the riches of the wild right to our doorstep. Know how Caelondia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. But now, the greatest outpost past the city line is nothing but a freak show. The army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam, just like my fighting days. A gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. Whole place shudders in a fit. The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine. Not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Grand Rail's all grown over with things the Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid lets a few of them slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they own the place. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, what with wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere. place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rails seen much more fighting in bygone times. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Celandian War. It was right here that Zulf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into Swampweed Central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While choking on swampweed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. But then, at last, it's the end of the line. He'll be picking swampweed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. Celandia lost many good men on the rail. At first he thinks it's Zulf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you. says the man. Then wham! When the kid comes to, the man's long gone, but something else is there. The only words Kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances. The service for all the men and women who serve Caelondia. Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zulf. Zulf's messenger was one of his people. Wonder just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zulf told him. That's the way to make every shot count. Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape. It's no longer a weapon, it's a precision instrument. He's a spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols. The shards are getting harder to find. That's Trigger Hill, where the Army's elite became the finest marksmen in the land. Caelandia's army only took the best, and the best of them trained on Trigger Hill. The Triggers believed they were nothing without their rifles. Nothing beats the feel of shooting a Caelandian army carbine. Sometimes you had to take care to steady your shot. Triggers had clearance to modify their guns however they chose. Some felt the course was too easy, so the Triggers spiced things up a bit. Kid blows through that course like it was nothing. The Caelandian army would have recruited him in a flash. Sometimes a brusher's pike just ain't enough. That's what the carbine's for. No risk of Culford Cauldron ever erupting again, they used to say. Guess they were wrong. Not everything blew up in the Calamity. Why, Culford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. If you wanted to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt. So in a way, the beasts of the wilds, they're all survivors too. It takes a certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this. As for us, we learned an awful lot from Culford Cauldron. That learning led to some interesting inventions. The raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Playing with the cauldron's fires became an addiction. Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here. We discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The taste of air so hot it sticks to your lungs. The unforgiving scent of sulfurous dirt. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. You can cook those things, but you can't eat them. thought we'd find so much life in all that ash. The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found. We kept on sifting through the cauldron's secrets anyway. Place as inhospitable as they come. But still we pressed on. After all, when we looked down inside Culford Cauldron, looked down through all the smoke and flames, we saw in there the heart of the world, the heart now laid bare by the calamity. We had to have it. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Jocelyn Bog. Kid's thinking he's got to trek all the way back around the cauldron. Luckily, the cauldron cooked up a little shortcut for him. Sure, it ain't the most convenient path. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. Well, it ain't polite to stare. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. The cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell. Don't shed any tears for him, though. With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city. But all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. It comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. The culture, a still life of old unwanted keepsakes. The triggers, my brothers, bravest men I ever knew. The inspiration, a forge can fashion anything. The city, its riches nothing but fragments now. Sometimes I want to ask him, why do any of this? But truth is, I don't want to know. We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight. Never could ask for a song. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Zealandia. folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. Mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. Lost my train of thought there. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. Convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. Well, you know how it goes. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Almost succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip, told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals.
Someday your bird is gonna fly. Gonna build that wall until it's done. Strong, 'cause we'll be there.
mother were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free.
Dig my hole, you build a wall. Dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall. Gonna build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city on a hill.
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in.
So build that wall and build it strong. We'll be there before too long. Gonna build that wall.
She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand. The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it. Oh, his manners ain't so bad. The conscience. We haven't lost everything, long as we have that. The faith. Mother, this one's for you. They said the wild could never be tamed, if only they could see us now. At least it won't get cold around here with that thing around. On the inside, a fire bellows ain't nothing like its more popular air-spitting cousin. Now we're looking at some serious firepower. When you've got a solid balance, you've got what you need. Folks say Mender mead's good for you. It's like an herb garden in full bloom. We spotted a pecker carrying a shard to Mount Zan. Welcome to Grady Incinerator, home of the hottest wings east of Caelandia. In all seriousness, the incinerator was a dump, and it had a problem with peckers. Blasted things would swoop in and spread trash all around, until we started using fire. We couldn't just torch them all at once. We had to use restraint. Wasn't any other way to teach those peckers some respect. Who knows why we fought so hard to defend our own trash? Not much left of Mount Zan nowadays. It's like a cross between a zoo and a prison break. Can't rightly call Mount Zan the mountain anymore. There's no more mountains now. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go. So they figure they'll hold out right here, on a slab of mountain the Calamity forgot. Good thing for those beasts the Calamity saved leftovers. We only found their little lair because they found themselves a little shard. Those beasts been hoarding all the valuables they could find. The creatures of the wild, they've been building a bastion of their own. But they ain't yet prepared for any company. Children into this. Without a doubt, the situation stinks. Best thing we can do for those beasts right now is put them down quick and clean. Besides, we have to take back what's ours. Even if the beasts of the wilds won't like it. The beasts of Mount Zan go all out. What the city left behind, those beasts took for themselves. this way, it's either them or us. But if we win, they win too. Our Bastion is everybody's game, not just ours. Unfortunately, there's no explaining that to a simple beast. Those beasts been hard at work fixing up the place. They've been searching for cores and shards, just like we have. They've rounded up their survivors, just like we have. It's a delicate situation. Maybe they've thought about turning back, just like we have. We just really need their shard. Kid got it fair and square. You don't need to keep tangling with all those things. He's done what's best for him, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll all be better off once the Bastion is complete. The monument's getting better. Zolf sure did a number on it, though. The arsenal's complete, in case we need protection. Suppose it's true a little song can put things in perspective. Fixed that thing right up, didn't we? Made these goings-on a little livelier. Just a couple shards left. The quarry's gotta have one, right? That mortar's gonna leave a lasting impression. Taught him an old trick from a galleon gunner I once knew. Boundless Bay used to be a weapons test and dry dock. Ain't never been this dry, though. Caelondia's armada was a glorious sight, and our ship's mortars were unstoppable. At Boundless Bay, our Navy put those mortars through a rigorous inspection. Had to use squirts to simulate explosive impact on the surface of the sea. Galleon skippers needed to be patient, needed to fire at just the right times. Sounds like the kid's mortar's in tip-top shape. If you got a thing for heavy artillery, then I've got the place for you. A variety of modifications could be used to enhance the power of a mortar. If a galleon mortar couldn't squish enough squirts, it was simply replaced. You could almost see the fireworks over Boundless Bay. Good thing we got to that mortar before the beasts of the wild learned how to use it. The secret to how we built Caelondia so tall and proud lies in Burstone Quarry. Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Caelondia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Burstone Quarry. The Ura tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow from the calamity. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Same goes for its natives, Rattletails. Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nested in those rocks. Not only are these rocks a source of life, but there was even more to it than that. We found that the oldest ones remember things. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests turned out to be a problem. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags. Windbags tended to the rocks, so we had to keep the rattletails at bay. Without those windbags, the quarry might not have its special qualities. Even stink eyes started taking root in here. Now, why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. Might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news. In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen. The largest ones, you know as cores. A single core could keep the lights on in an entire city district. The smaller ones, we call them shards. A shard's got a fraction of a core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use. Remember how I said rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive things stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. The only thing harder than the rocks in Bastion Quarry is Sir Lunky's head. His big fat rump's plenty tough too, but so is the kid. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. "Are you all right?" it says. It's him. "I've come to warn you," he says. "The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back." Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. "If that's the way it is," he says, "then I won't stop you. Because my countrymen will." Say what you will about Zulf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. Too bad for that. Zulf showed him the way here, and here they came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this. To make matters worse, seems the Ura took the girl. Unfortunately, they broke in. And they started digging their holes. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away at this place. We tried to stop them, but we needed help. Our baby pecker. He don't make it. Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zulf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back for the calamity. It was Caelandia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zulf knew the whole story. What were we to think? They must have got her, taken her back to her rightful home. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. Messia, Garmouth. Last thing the gods are gonna do is make our lives easier. The Brushers, they moved in shadows, but the Calamity found them. The Sanctuary. If we can build, we can rebuild. The Skippers delivered us from the motherland. The Mercy. The windbags ain't the only beast that drew a bad lot. The Marshals would have been downright jealous. The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way. Urzendra Gate used to lead down to the terminals. Now it leads up to the stars. One last shard. It's all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand. Zolf said the Calamity failed, and he's right. The Uras stand as living proof of that. At the heart of the Calamity was a simple idea. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. We put a lot of folks against that problem. Scientists, soldiers, spies, even me. We sought solutions far beyond the city. Traveled near as far as the kid's going right now. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit. Then there was a breakthrough, but it didn't come from one of our people. It came from an Ura, a brilliant young scientist named Ven. Ven worked for the Mancers, the sharpest knives in the city's drawer. With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the Ura tunnel shut in a flash. Just like that, every last Ura living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they said, except as a last resort. But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own. He sabotaged the Mancer's little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. Imagine how Ven must have felt when they finally made him pull that trigger. But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard. Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front. For now, Kid had little choice but to pick up where the Calamity left off. First things first, though, there's someone we figured needed rescuing. Zia. The Ura fell back, no doubt planning the next move, but we knew ours already. Don't give in, I say. There's something we had to do before going after that last shard. Zoltan's Hollow is the Ura's border blockade. At least it used to be. Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. The Ura ain't pulling their punches. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even. Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the Calamity Rocks slink back into the ground. Those rocks are like tumors, the same kind the Ura planted in Bastion. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. Kid's done using the Calamity's power for now, but the Ura ain't finished. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. Those rodents are just a bump in the road. Kid's picking the whole place apart, piece by piece. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. Kid returns their greeting tenfold. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. They're easy targets. bugs must be eating that place apart from the inside. The Ura keep hanging on to their barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. Some of them are downright bewildered by what's happening. Maybe they know they've lost this, lost to a kid. They underestimated us, had us pegged all wrong. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. When the Ura attacked, we took it hard, and now it's personal for him, and it's personal for me. They never saw him coming. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even. Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the calamity rocks slink back into the ground. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. Those rocks are like tumors, the same kind the Ura planted in the Bastion. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. Those rodents are just a bump in the road. Kids picking the whole place apart, piece by piece. Kid returns their greeting tenfold. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. They're easy targets. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. The Ura ain't pulling their punches. Those calamity rocks must be eating that place apart from the inside. The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. Some of them are downright bewildered by what's happening. Maybe they know they've lost this. Lost to a kid. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. Shame the opportunity for civilized discourse is over. It's not the time to get reckless. Suppose old Zolf should have got to know us better. Maybe I should have trusted him. Told him everything I knew. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns. But when this is all over, it'll all be water under the bridge. There's nothing standing in his way no more. He sees the Tazzle terminals loom large on the horizon. All those dreams, snuffed out in the calamity, will bring him back. Way out there on the edge of the world, that's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time. Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people. You had to see if everything Zulf wrote to you was true. Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you? They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. I don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember? The country, she's all to pieces now, but still looking good. Black rye's like hot pineapple chowder on a cold day. Brings back memories. Long reach and plenty of power. Now that's a scary combination. First step to learning the Calamity Cannon is knowing about the machinery overrides. Good thing I didn't throw away the manual. Take my word for it, don't ever drop one of those. Once the kid gets that last shard from Zolf, it'll all be over. Manser Observatory. Now there's a sneaky place, overlooking the Tassel terminals themselves. The Ura probably didn't know they were being watched from Manser Observatory. It was the perfect spot to test something no one's meant to know about. Only trouble was, something about the place drove the windbags crazy. Best stand well clear of that impact. Hefty thing like that takes getting used to. Gotta point her in the right direction. Whatever gets in her way is in the world of her, but she ain't the fastest thing. When the windbags caused enough trouble, the Mansers conducted their most secretive research far east of the city. You could cause a lot of collateral damage with her if you ain't careful. The more crowded it gets, the more trouble you could cause with a single shot. She's designed to be fine-tuned, just need the proper parts. not much left of the observatory when the smoke clears. If the power of the Calamity is safe in anybody's hands, it's safe in his. Looks like our little science project is all set. Now, who would have taught a kid to do a thing like that? That experiment was a rousing success. If only the Mansers could have seen the kid playing around with their favorite toy. The Tazzle terminals, all that's left of the Ura civilization, and the last stop on his little journey. I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right. Just needs to get that shard from Zulf and come on home. The Calamity hit the Tazzle terminals hardest of all. No chance anything survived. You know why Zulf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Taken by the Calamity. Zulf must be there all just waiting. You know what's funny? Well, all of us are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this. When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. What happens to Zolf will no longer matter. This disease the Earth planted here will go away. Zealandia will be whole again. back to normal. No telling where the kid is now. But he'll be all right. Just needs to get that shard from Zulf and come on home. The Calamity hit the Tazzle terminals hardest of all. You know why Zulf went back there. All his old friends and family were there. Taken by the Calamity. Zulf must be there all alone. Just waiting. You know what's funny? Well, all of us are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this. When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. What happens to Zulf will no longer matter. Zealandia will be whole again. Everything will be back to normal. Problem is, we'll all be gone. Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop. Things will go back to the way they used to be. That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the Calamity. The way things were before this story. Good times, right? You be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. All of life's little setbacks. Everything you've ever done, you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you agree? I guess there's nothing more to say. Who am I kidding? You follow me? Look. There's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it. So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is... I don't know. You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's all right. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us. Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around. The weight of the calamity. It's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. The Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking. If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off, away from here. Of course, that would mean no going back. Ever. But then again, That way, all of us could leave the city. Together. You know Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura, all they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to a lasting peace between the Ura and Zealandia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out. Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid. For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. It ain't a simple matter of pride either. One thing's for sure, the Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home. I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight. Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. You ain't still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
I set my sail, fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide. Feel your heart and it's glowing.
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now.
Sweet home.
It reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days? Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see. Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions. Hey, kid. You can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you. Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore. Zolf only brought more ruin to the Ura. No wonder they didn't take kindly to him. You've got one thing left to do, so you hang on to that badge. Besides, you earned it. Don't let anything you've done get to you. You can save all those creatures here and now.
You made it. So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes. If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world. Zolf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed. When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up. Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the calamity, not before.
I figured you'd had enough of me by now. You could have undone the calamity itself, but instead you want to stay in a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea. But carrying on with you here, we can't go back no more. But I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look in their faces when we dock this thing right on their doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate. What do you say?